On this episode, we talk about FAQ videos for funeral homes, why I use potatoes, and I got a haircut. Spud me. Welcome everybody to the DISRUPTu show. I'm your host, Ryan Thogmartin, and this is the funeral profession's most disruptive web show. Episode number 8. I did this all backwards. I'm out of sorts today. I've been gone for a week, so this is the first episode we've shot in a week. We've been going 2 episodes a week for the last month. So it's nice to be back in the saddle. We've had a few questions. People ask what this is. This was a gift. It's I guess a beer growler from Paula Masters gave this to us, so we've been using it as a pretty cool prop. We've got to figure out something to fill it with. A beer would be the logical choice, but we'll figure it out. It's just a cool prop, so thanks to Paula Masters for that. But happy to be back and answering questions. We've got a few great questions today that came through Facebook. One question comes from a casket company who kind of did a spoof of this show, I guess, with donuts. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So spud me. You're so serious when you throw the spud. All right. FAQ videos for funeral homes. This question came through Facebook. Shout out to Tim for sending that in. Appreciate the support, watching all the episodes, and spudding us with a question. Tim asked, they are a funeral home, cemetery, crematory combo, the only one in their county. They want to start doing some FAQ videos and said, what questions should we be answering, and how should we get started? And really, I don't necessarily have question suggestions for you. Obviously, FAQs, you can think of a number of different, the top 5 questions that every family asks, the top 5 things that every family asks about cremation, every family asks about funerals, every family asks about crematories. You can answer those. I would challenge you to play in the white space, the space that nobody else is engaging in. Answer questions that are maybe a little bit more edgy, like what really happens to a body during cremation, or something a little more edgy. Find the white space. Just Q&A and FAQs for a funeral home can be somewhat bland. So I would think of some things that are maybe outlying on the edges and find that white space where nobody else is engaging. There's a lot of other funeral homes and cemetery combos out there doing some Q&A. Not very good, but if you watch some of them, you see a trend with funeral homes trying to do Q&A. So I would try to find that white space, think a little bit differently, maybe not just Q&A. How about trying to tell the story of some of your funeral directors, what keeps them energized every day, why they want to be in the funeral space, why they got into being a funeral director. There's a lot of funeral directors that have very powerful stories as to why they got into the funeral profession in the first place. So I would step back a little bit, think outside FAQs. That's a great start. I would encourage you, to do some of that, but maybe look big picture and start playing in the spaces where nobody else is, and come up with something that's your own stick and value to the consumer, something that a consumer wouldn't expect from a funeral home or a crematory or cemetery. So I would go that route, and then taking it a step further, I would take those videos, I would get them transcribed into blog content, and I would start pushing out content in log form that way as well, and get some SEO juice, use it for social, a lot of different things that you could do when you take video and transcribe it into long form. But my encouragement to you, great question, thanks for asking it, is to take a high level view down and think outside of FAQs and go the next step further. Spud me. Oh man, I almost dropped that one. Advice for time. I get this question quite a bit. from funeral homes who say, look, you're doing social media, you're doing this, you're doing 3 video shows a week. How do you find the time? I run a funeral home. I don't have time to do social media. How do we make time for it? And I think I can answer this question because I live it. And you hear me say that a lot, but I think listening to somebody that's gone through it and is actually doing it is more valuable than listening to someone who talks about it but never lives it. So advice for time is to stop doing the things that you're not good at, plain and simple. I'm not a good video editor. Therefore, we have Cody and we have Josh who can edit video and do things with video that I can't do. I'm not a great long form writer. That's why we have people who ghostwrite and can take my thoughts and write them. It allows me to be more efficient at the things I am good at and stop worrying about the things I'm not good at. And I see a lot of funeral homes who the owner and funeral directors try to be good at everything and try to do it all and don't delegate well. So I would stop doing the things that you're not good at so you can focus on time efficiency doing the things that you are good at. And if that means hiring somebody else, then you need to hire somebody else. If that means delegating a responsibility and teaching somebody how to manage that part of your business, that's what you need to do. So stop doing what you're not good at so you can focus on what you are good at, and that will free up more of your time. Okay, Spud Me, last one. I like this one. This one comes from Sarah at Thacker Casket Company, and she asks, why potatoes? On St. Patrick's Day, Thacker put out a video. Sarah did a quick Q&A like this, spoofed a little bit of the DISRUPTu show, called it the Thacker U, which is funny. I like that. But instead of potatoes, they used donuts. I gotta admit, I screwed up. Donuts are a lot better to eat than potatoes. And Sarah asked on that episode, Ryan, why potatoes? I don't have a good answer as to why we use potatoes. When we did a brainstorm about this show, we had just someone on our team had recently read an article where you could mail potatoes. We showed the website mailspud.com, and that was top of mind. They said, why don't we use potatoes? We played with that idea a little bit and realized that when people send in a potato, we would be ruining a lot of food. So now for every pound of potatoes that we collect, we're donating a pound of potatoes to a local food shelter, which a lot of you don't know. We're also donating $1 to the Funeral Service Foundation for every potato we get in the mail. So it was kind of birthed out of, hey, this is funny. Why don't we write the questions on potatoes, because people can mail a spud? And it kind of stuck. I wish I had this really high level, intricate answer as to why potatoes, but I don't. We just picked potatoes because you can mail a spud, and it was funny, and it worked, and Spud Me was born. Somebody on our creative team actually created a graphic the other day, and it was my head with a potato bouncing off of it and the hashtag Spud Me. So I think that's a great t-shirt that we'll probably end up making. But yeah, potatoes was it was thrown out in an big idea session, and it stuck. So we use potatoes. Maybe we should have went with Skittles. I enjoy Skittles more. And Sarah's idea of donuts is pretty good because you can eat those. But props to Thacker for doing something fun on St. Patty's Day and doing a Thacker U video. All right. It's time for the Would You Rather. Our green Would You Rather sign holder got damaged. Somebody threw it on the floor in a rage. Yes. R.I.P. to the the green sign holder, so we just have the chalkboard. Would you rather freeze to death or burn to death? Answer in the comments below, please. A lot of you, look, we're getting about 8,000 views a week on every episode of DISRUPTu, and we're not getting that many people commenting on the would you rather question or asking questions. So please engage with us. Let's create some context. Let's go back and forth, answer the would you rather, ask us questions that I can answer on the show, and mail us your spud. Again, 8,000 people a week are watching this, so we should have 8,000 subscribers on YouTube. So please subscribe. Subscribe. That's all we're asking you to do. Click the subscribe box. Enough with the shenanigans. Until next week, keep disrupting. Oh, by the way, don't forget to send us your spud. We're doing a donation for every spud we get in the mail. We're gonna donate $1 to the Funeral Service Foundation. So help support a great cause and send us your spud.